I think this community meeting is brought to you by DeWalt.
Live, okay. Hi, everyone. It's Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 at 1:30 PM. We're here in council chambers, in the municipal building, and available via Zoom conferencing. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. Are there any additions to the agenda? None. Can I get a confirmation of the agenda? All in favor? Is there any pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? I see none. Regarding the minutes, can I get an approval of the minutes from last meeting?
Sure can.
Okay. All in favor? Great. We don't have any delegations today. And first up is Darrell Birch, Water and Sewer.
But anyways, things are going okay. I'm looking for resolutions for our compliance reports. We got and I got the report in to the government of Canada for the sewage plant. And I got a new set of doors put in the chemical building there because we couldn't open the other ones. And lots of snow.
Oh, yeah.
Heating system is on the blink in the office portion of our water plant. So still not fixed, but it wasn't even on the part. It's not the worst thing. So questions about my water sewer compliance reports?
I don't know if anybody had trouble opening the actual reports. I did, and I had to actually do a whole,
I did too.
okay, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had to like open them in a different, and then download Adobe again and then bring them back up. Finally, I got it. I don't know why I bothered. I don't really understand them,
Yeah.
you know, and I do figure that if something was really wrong, I know that you'd direct our attention to it, but I do attempt to read your reports, but there was a problem with it, so I just
Okay.
let if any other council member had a problem.
No, I pulled it up through the zip section of my phone.
Oh, okay.
That's probably a version of it.
That site that you contracted out cleaning and painting it, is that, finished yet, or,
No, they're actually just beginning their,
okay,
they were up last week, they got their confinement station buildings kind of made inside the plant. And they're ready to blast, but now they're having a problem with their dust collector, so they're gonna start painting the outside first. The welder was there this morning and he enlarged the holes in the bottom so that they can get in through the inside the under drain.
Yep.
So
Ugh.
I told him, I said, I need you out of here by the end of March because I want this thing up and running, but when the river opens, so
Yeah,
he promised me he'd have it done.
so he's got 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Three and a half,
so.
fingers crossed, but I don't think it's bad. If they're having a problem, do what you can do and then come back
That's
to
right.
the, absolutely,
So-
yeah.
just remember, crap happens.
And they'll start, he said they'll start blasting either Friday or Monday, and I said you can work 24 hours a day if you want, it doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Yeah, the time crunch.
We need 2 days then to put the strainers back in, and then the filter guy is, he's been hounding me to come back and put the meeting in, so.
Okay. John, do you need to take that? Okay, yes, well, absolutely.
So hopefully we get it done.
Any other questions for Bill?
No. Thanks for the
Thank
update,
you.
though.
Thanks, Daryl.
Yeah,
Right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Do we have Jason in the building? Nobody knows?
I didn't see him today. I haven't seen him today, so
Okay.
I don't remember him saying to me he wasn't gonna be at this meeting, but
We can move, if he comes in, we just add him in later.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Daryl, what?
I'll call.
Daryl, yeah, he's the next up.
He's gonna be upstairs from now on. We're gonna have to text him or walkie him to come downstairs.
Yeah, exactly.
A little
They-
little buzzer.
Yeah, they did a great job up there. Yeah.
Shout out to Kayla for
I
creating the
know.
painting the logo and everything on the wall. That was great.
I just said, Daryl, when you
Hey,
fully move upstairs, we're gonna have to text you or walkie you to come down.
Buzzer,
Yeah,
buzzer,
buzzers.
or the,
Pole
or
on
the
the ceiling with
actually,
the pole.
Yeah.
the old school bell would be good.
Legal now, apparently.
I
I
heard.
think you can grandfather them, but you can't install them, correct?
The one in Renfrew is closed off. It's still there. but
Oh.
they have it glassed off upstairs, so you can't go down.
Oh, for a fire,
Okay.
for a fire pole.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're allowed them on playgrounds, but I guess not in the fire. Fighters.
Or in clubs.
Weird, eh?
Clubs.
And,
It's coming.
oh, he is, great, thanks,
Oh,
Daryl.
okay.
We'll deal with this, Daryl.
You want to go ahead, Joe?
Right, so we'll jump right into fire calls, which were pretty much the same as last year. So, a lot of them are a couple of carbon monoxides, but nothing major.
Mhm.
I don't wanna jinx you, but I'm thrilled to see not too many MVCs, considering the weather we've had.
Yeah, we had that one that it was actually, it wasn't even in there, it was a groomer, the hydro, the guy wire on the hydro light pole.
Wasn't my kids. Been both in an accident.
Always
Same
blame
weekend.
her twins, always.
And we do have 4 candidates who are gonna be interviewing soon. Probably gonna be taking place when I'm gone, but that's the way it is, so. So by the time I get back, they should be
And these are four like brand new
4
candidates,
brand new recruits, yeah.
like new to the area or have always lived
No,
there?
it's just new to still wanting to join.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We should celebrate that.
We did it, we sent out, we're trying to do it in blocks, we're gonna do a recruitment drive in the spring, one in the fall. As opposed to having them come in dribs and drabs.
Well, to do the first 5 definitely takes up some time
Yeah.
too. And it's probably easier to do it as a group.
Exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
as opposed to bringing in one person here, one person there, because we wanted to come up together, if we have to wait till we get 3 or 4 candidates, it could, so.
Then they're all at the same stage
Yeah,
technically.
so-
That makes sense.
So we put it out and cut it off the end of February.
But it used to be like that just by attrition.
Yeah.
Like it seemed that you had sort of classes of people that came up together.
Yeah.
Just because that's when they joined.
Yeah, exactly,
So, and I think that was for probably before the first 5 was mandatory.
so. I didn't put it in my report, but they finished their training, so the testing's coming up for Fire 1, 2 and hazmat. In March 21st and 27th or something like that. Should be here, so.
Good times.
So we'll jump in the building, so.
Wait, hang on, everybody saw the CCAN and the,
All the shit
yeah,
Fine.
So-
Yeah.
kind of blends in.
Well, I think even if you painted it red and then in the spring, like when it's a little nicer, I'd then find somebody, but even if you spray painted it red, I think it would,
Yeah,
just be the fire,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we are slowly purging. We're cleaning the hull up and cleaning up the basement, and whatever's not being utilized is going. This thing about collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always said we were municipal hoarders. Every single nook and cranny of every building,
Yeah.
my first few years that they took me, when we did our road tour. And I thought, holy Hannah, does nobody in this township throw anything out?
Sounds like a special event. It needs to
Well,
happen.
no, it's been happening, well, as you saw the kitchen and
For
upstairs.
the
and
dog
fire
pound,
hall.
we had like a grandfather clock in there.
Okay, that's a great example.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Whatever happened of the.
That's what I'm wondering what happened to it.
Oh, I thought somebody took it. I thought somebody wanted it. But in any case, but that's a great example, like just, yeah, crazy. All right, sorry, Daryl.
That's okay.
Okay.
So, building, I've already issued 3 permits, the phone's starting to ring more, I do have some on my desk right now, another house, with the change of the new code that officially takes effect at the end of, this month,
Yes,
so that's gonna be. I actually had, we put it up on the website. Facebook
Website,
page,
Facebook,
yeah, all the changes that were in the code this year. Rough in for radon is a big one, that's gonna be mandatory at the end of this month. Yeah. It's not a big deal, it's just piping, it's better to do it
Yeah.
up front than to try and do a mitigation system after the house is built. So,
That's only for new build though,
only
right?
for new builds.
Okay.
If you want to get your house tested, and if you come out that you're higher than the allotted valuables, you can put a system in, but it is rather costly.
Well, and we just learned it's a very timely procedure.
Yeah.
Like you have to put the thing in your home for a few weeks.
Well, 3 months, I think,
Okay,
but 3 months and then send it out to get.
and then you send it out and then, yeah, so
What is
it's
it that you're talking about exactly, putting in your home?
radon.
Radon.
Yeah, right on.
Remember, that was the test kits that I asked the
Yeah, I remember.
Board of Health, and then we
Yeah.
had a bit of a communication breakdown, but
Yeah.
that's what those are.
Yeah, I might have mentioned this before, when I was in DM, we did a 100 house challenge. And I think we ended up with about 89 houses signing up, and 40% came back positive.
Really?
Yeah. So it wasn't in the code yet, but as the building inspector, I was informing people to let them know that this is an option you should consider
Yeah,
while you're building. And a lot of people took it, a lot of people didn't, so,
but that's
yeah,
a lot of homes.
it's pretty high.
Is this mostly for below ground basements?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen on slab on grade.
Typically not, because and it's just captured in the basement, and you don't know it's there until you actually encapsulate it around the house. The house is built, and then the gas will show up. So, because we are being bombarded with radiation, just walking around the earth, so it's whenever you put it inside. And it's really not difficult to expel, it's just you put the piping in and it's an exhaust fan, you just put it outside.
So now every new home construction will have the piping in place.
Yeah, they have to have it in, yeah, this month, and any new home construction.
Okay,
So all of this is on the website, our website, and what it is and.
All the changes to
All
the
the
new
changes
code.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's gonna be an education for, like, just trying to give the contractors and anybody else a head start, because there's 118 pages of changes, so.
yeah.
Is there a Coles version? Is there a Coles version?
I have it, I ordered a new code, but
An executive
I
summary.
was gonna say.
Anybody-
I think that is the executive summary.
anybody can go in and if they want to visit the website on the code, and they can pull it up.
Is there an infographic?
If you want the building code, it's this big.
No, I'm
Those are
looking for
the
an infographic for the
Yeah.
average layman.
And yeah, that's all I have.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thank you,
Any
Darryl.
questions?
I'd like to get a picture of you when you get back riding a camel, Contra Valley Fire Chief.
Okay. So, yeah, maybe I'll become a camel jog.
Thanks, Darryl.
Thank you.
See ya.
Jason.
Everyone?
How bad is it out there, Jay?
It's mild, so they're gonna plow them off and throw some material down.
Okay,
And we're in for some rain tomorrow, so
Yeah.
where's it going to go?
hopefully in the
What, the
ditches.
snow?
Yeah,
What?
Well, you have it looks like you have most of your banks, so you sloped them last week or whatever. Yeah.
A lot of them are
Yeah.
peeled back. We did a bunch. Yeah, last week we went with both trucks and.
Yeah.
Everything back. We've been trying to open up a bunch of ditches and culverts and.
I see
manholes.
my cars in the ditch over on Hartwick.
Oh, did you?
and she did it, not one of her kids, by the way.
I have a broken shoulder, so I can only drive with one arm. Then it's like, oops, right off the side.
Is it still in your laneway?
Yeah, it's in the driveway at
Oh,
the end,
nice.
but it's kind of in the ditch.
So through those terrible few days that you have listed here, not one complaint. And I got a complaint first thing this morning.
Well, we-
Anything you want to share?
No, it was actually not up on Chevelli Road,
Okay.
but I'm
That's good.
Jason knows that throughout
Yes.
those days, I have never had a snow event ever in my 15 years of doing this. I've never had a snow event without at least one complaint, and this time I did not receive one complaint.
You're likable, that's it.
Everyone worked very hard
They worked very
to
hard.
make sure that everyone was safe to get to where they had to go.
That's right.
So they did a very good job.
Everything is winged back down my way.
Good.
They
Uh,
got the roads crew got no complaint pizza last Friday.
No.
Hey, if I don't get phone calls and emails and texts, they get pizza.
Thank you very much for that also.
No, you don't have to thank me at all.
Lakes, ditches and community cleanup days. So any Boulder Valley resident can assist by cleaning up ditches, lakes, ditches, community, and take their bags to the garbage free Sand Road Wayside. I believe the date are Saturday, April 19th and April 26th. Birthday is April 22nd.
So I had a question on this, just because of the sheer amount of snow. If the ditches are still snowy or wet or yucky, can we just let the wayside attendants at Sand Road know it might be further into May, maybe closer to the long weekend? Just because I know that some years it dries up quickly, some years it doesn't, and this seems like it's a ways away, but it's not. Yeah, so just in case, I don't want people to think that these dates are written in stone.
No, that's right.
So sorry, if you clean up your ditch or your back road ditch, garbage to Saturday, April 19th to Sand Road.
Correct.
That is the
And-
Saturday of Easter.
And the
weekend.
20, and the
And
26th.
26th.
And the
also.
26th, yeah.
Easter Wayside Flowers, Saturday. Will be open at Snow Drifter Sand Road, Highway 41 Ruby site. Will be open also. Sunday, April 20th, Lake Clear and McGrath, so road sites will be closed. And Monday, April 21st, Sand Road Waste site will be closed also.
And Sarah's got those to put on the Facebook page and the website.
Yes,
Yeah.
Brilliant,
yes.
because we will get phone calls on Sunday,
Mhm.
guaranteed.
I think you get the most of those.
Yeah, oh, actually Brent asked for a complaint log. I've already started it.
OCIF annual financial report, we completed and submitted our OCIF annual 2024 financial report on Zata Road construction project.
Great.
Annual waste site reporting, also gathered information, submitted to Cambium, our consultants. And, they are preparing our 2024 waste site reports.
Questions?
Yeah, I just had one question that I forgot to ask you yesterday, Jason. The survey pickets on Whitkey Road do they have anything to do with us?
Actually, so Bell's coming through to put fiber in.
That's what I wondered. Thank you.
They went and looked at the lay of the land. And it's not feasible to put it underground, so they had to put a pole system in.
Okay.
So,
Are they using the hydro poles?
no, they're gonna
They're
put the
not.
rolls in.
Okay.
That'll
Interesting.
make a lot of people happy out there.
Will it ever,
Including you.
including me? Actually, I've got a long story about my internet, but yes, but that is fantastic news. So I didn't want to tell the resident because I wasn't sure and it was a Sunday. So, I didn't have anyone to check with, but I was hoping that's what it was.
Yes.
I knew it wasn't Enbridge.
No, so actually, I've over the last 2 summers, I've been getting a lot of Bell. Where I have to go out and, look at the roadways and see what can be done if they have to go to a pole system, or if they can go underground, or, make sure that where they're gonna put it, if it is underground, that it's not gonna interfere with anything, our infrastructure and
Right.
our roads and, tree lines and property lines and.
Well, especially that one area where Lake Clear or Little Lake Clear forms that river. I mean, Whitkey Road becomes very narrow sometimes in the spring when the water rises there. So yeah, it doesn't make much sense. Like to try and put it under where a culvert is or a bridge or anything else. All right, thanks. I'll let them know. That's
How
perfect.
far are they going on Augsburg Road to Augsburg? I see they're still, I was surprised they're working at it, still working at it.
Yeah, they're having a tough time. There's lots of rocks.
Rocks.
Yeah, so I bought like 150 of those little orange flags in like 100-meter location, so you know there is.
Well, what will be very interesting, I mean, where our topography is basic, I mean, we're just all rock, right? But it will be very interesting, bless you, to find out if Ford cancels this deal with Starlink, what Eorn will do to help out the north with bringing, you know, some sort of provider.
Well, I'm just gonna say at the end of this, that it's a regular question of our residents, who's using who for provider.
Absolutely.
So as for myself, I was Starlink, it was $168 a month. Now I use Rogers because we have 2 cell towers.
Yeah.
Right, and within my vicinity in my home, and it's $50 a month.
You're using Rogers fixed
Using
wireless.
Rogers.
Okay.
So I'm paying a third of what I paid with Starlink.
To a Canadian
To a
company.
Canadian company.
Yeah,
Yes,
less
and add that
upfront
too.
fee, like less upfront fees as well. right?
No,
You
it's
start
$50 and then whatever, so it's like $55 a month for Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that, I don't know if we, Sarah was working on the new package for residents at one point. That might be something to add if it's not there, on what providers are popular and, you know, for people to look at.
I think the announcement of Starlink actually worried people that even had Starlink. I think they thought maybe we wouldn't be able to access Starlink anymore, which is not the case. This, what the previous government and now government said was, we're going to get everyone internet by the end of 2026. But to do that, they had to utilize every tool in their toolbox. So Minister of Infrastructure, Kinga Surma said, we're gonna use fiber, we're gonna use satellite, we're gonna use everything so that wherever you live, you're gonna have internet, maybe not to the point of some of the great streaming, but you're all gonna have internet. So I will be interested to see if they actually cancel this, what the North will do, because they're on a lot of rock and hills and everything else. So it'll be an interesting thing for Eorn, I think, to see going forward what the government will do.
Well, it's, you know, these economic times and think of the price Starlink is charging, and it's not greater, better service.
I'm sorry, how much is it?
Starlink, I was paying $168 with tax. And now,
That's a lot.
Rogers, same amount of people not using online, and it's like, yeah, it's like $55 a month.
Okay,
What they need is an IT broker, just like an insurance broker or a mortgage broker,
Mhm.
to help you search for the best deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but it is a
That's what teams are
constant.
for.
Sorry, we're taking on Jason's time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
To get back to your question, I've proved out as far as Silver Lake, by Zotto.
I'm just surprised they're working in the winter time. I know there's rock there, but now they also have frost to contest with. I'm surprised they're working in the winter.
Yeah, but they can use the sucker truck to break through the frost.
Yeah.
Cybertruck? What's it called? Didn't know
It's
that.
the technical name.
Oh,
You learn something new every
is it an
day.
acronym for something greater? It's okay, it's okay. Show it to you sometime.
No, it's fantastic though, and I'm sure the residents on Wiki are gonna be so happy.
Now it's only going in so far.
So,
Oh, I imagine. Yes. Because are they doing like last kilometer from 512?
It's going past Whitkey about half a K
Only half, okay,
it's not
to the
very-
top of the hill.
okay,
Where's the Rogers Tower near there?
okay, funny you should ask. So they redirected me from Eganville to Corrigan, so I was 9 kilometers, now I'm about 4 kilometers. But Bolt Road is going in, Bolt and, not Donegal.
Yep.
Yeah, Bolt and Donegal is going in, it should be up and running in April. So they're gonna move my antenna again, and that'll make me about 2 to 3 kilometers, which, yeah.
Well, you
But-
barely had cell service years ago.
I have no cell phone
Yeah.
service at home, none.
Mm.
But moving the tower, they're moving my antenna has completely changed my down up speeds. So you're right, and it is not expensive
Yeah,
and it's a Canadian company.
I just think it's important for our residents to know our options.
Yes.
There's a lot of, like I said, almost every week someone's posting who's using what,
Yep,
and it's a lot of new people coming into town.
there are a lot of different providers as
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
which is a bit confusing.
Well, they can all use each other's lines now. That's in your federal code now.
What do you mean?
Like, so so when Bell runs a line, for example, the federal government had passed like the last year that other providers can utilize that line.
Not
So
fiber.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty,
No, I think that's only for co-location of towers. Cause I know we co-locate on a lot of towers. Like the tower up here has Bell and Rogers on it. Oh, sorry.
To investigate.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
But all that being said, yes, like TELUS, I think uses some Rogers equipment and
yeah, it's just based on in the infrastructure and the lines, I thought they changed that legislation. I'll look into it.
yeah, no,
That's fine.
but I know the co-locations are going very well and that's why they're going up so quickly. But no, I still have no cell phone service at my house. It's not ideal. I need to change my phone to Rogers.
You might be sorry when you get it because you'll have more complaints.
No, I use Wi-Fi calling. So when I'm at home, it does work, but it's off my Wi-Fi.
Any other questions? No? Good?
That was like a PSA for Rogers.
I know.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Here.
Take care.
Oh, the people with you, so happy.
All right, moving on to correspondence. So correspondence A, I'm gonna go right through to the AMO watch life at the end. Any action on our part? Anything we want to pick up? No?
You know what I did realize though, that Dr. Morgenstern's report is not in our package. That is my fault. Oh, yes, it is. Sorry, it's 12. Sorry, I missed that. I went correspondence A to number 11, but number 12 is on the following page. My bad. Sorry. I thought I didn't send it to you. Did you? You must have gotten it from Melissa. Okay.
Okay, the country media lease for Sport for All Fund. I did see a request later for funding for that.
Yes.
So this is a new opportunity, I guess, is an FYI for us to support them. Is there, I don't think there's any action on our part for this.
There's a
Or is there?
resolution.
Well, I know there's a request for funding from a individual in the community, but for
So
this,
these funds are from the Ontario Winter Games and the county has appointed an organization in order to accept these applications, award the
Okay.
applications and send the funding.
Mhm.
But the funding has to go to a charitable or registered organization. So this individual from our township wants to apply for the individual sporting
Right.
amount. And so they've sent in one application for 1,500. I don't know if they maybe want to, because they're sending it in for two different individual children, so they may want to send in a 750 and a 750, but we can work that out after.
Yeah.
But they need to be, because the money has to flow through an organization, it can't go directly to them. So what they've asked is if the council supports it, then we would, we would be the corporation that would be applying
right,
with all the information that is inserted there, and then the funds would flow through here.
okay,
So I did let the residents know, like, I'm sure council and myself as staff would just want to be transparent and accountable, and we want to have the receipt, like, so if they do approve this for funding, and you know, the kids are in these certain sporting activities with these registration fees, and there are travel amounts, like, I'd want to see the receipt with that person, that child's name on, with the registration fee. I'd want to see, here's the tournament dates, here's where they're located, here's where we stayed, here's receipts. So I said, you know, but taking that to council to see if council is interested in being the organization that sponsors these, because they're due shortly. Or, you know, you could go to the sporting organization itself and ask them to sponsor as well. But I know that you know, the timeline is tight.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Probably
so-
a better chance if it's supported by the
So
township,
the
right?
application is on there. It's the only one that I've received to date. So that's for
Yes.
consideration.
Yes,
I was
I'm
saying-
getting
Well,
resounding
there's,
yes.
that's why I was
yeah.
asking, because there's two two mentions of this fund. So this
Yes.
one is just a general awareness that it exists.
Yes,
The second
yes,
is the request.
introduced, and
Okay,
then,
that's
yeah,
what I
the
wanted to
second one,
clarify.
so
So
I know we're jumping then. Do we want
Yeah.
to?
once we realized that we had a surplus of $375,000, you're welcome. As the chair of finance for the games. It wasn't me, I swear. It was all the people that did all the sponsorship. They were amazing. Anyway, once we realized we knew we had to hand it over. And so, I think this works out perfectly, and it kind of takes county council out of the, even though it was the Renfrew County Winter Games, or for Ontario, this sort of takes us out of the fray
Mhm.
and allows people, but I think a definite yes.
Well, that's a lot, that, if you have that much money left, that supports a lot of youth. If,
Does
if
it
that
have-
if all of that is going towards youth in this program.
Yes,
Yeah, that's huge.
I know.
So I guess I ask now, do we support this request from the
Uh,
resident?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, all in favor?
So will that appear on tonight's council meeting, that resolution?
no, and as
No.
long as staff has
Staff.
direction to go
Oh,
ahead.
you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that all,
Okay.
because there's no, we're not signing it or
True.
anything, we just, at the top of the application, it has to be one organization. Is the funds gonna flow through, so as long as council is okay with that, then, I think the
Good.
funds could flow through here. If she gets, again, we're not the approving agency, that's up to the organization,
Yeah.
so whether or not the application
Well,
will be
we've done
approved, I
stuff
don't know.
I,
Yeah,
Mhm.
so.
So we're just a stable body, and instead of putting on the volunteer agencies, it makes sense.
Similar to museum, right? Like you guys in terms of being the bank sort of thing,
yeah,
right? Simple terms.
NEA CDG,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, media release, County of Renfrew budget approved. Any further discussion on that? I know you talked about it for this.
well, we came in at 5.5%, which we're
Yeah.
proud of, but not. I mean, we are proud, but it's certainly not where we'd like to end up. That's especially in these times, especially as of today. But we knew this was coming, and we worked, the staff were amazing. County council came prepared and ready. We had some really good discussion, but coming in at 5.5, which is about 2% higher than normal. Not ideal, but I think that we're giving the services that we need to give. I will say, we've now, even before the election, I don't have a mayor's report today. I just had a couple of announcements, but I will have a I only had 22 meetings this month, so I didn't have a lot to report on. But one of the things is we got approval for a heart hub in Pembroke, which is an amazing and major accomplishment. The problem is I don't know what that looks like yet. So I didn't want to, it's tough since we've been the only functioning level of government up until last week. So we've sort of been in this state of limbo where we have all these approvals, even more approvals for our homelessness situation, but we don't know what it looks like because we don't have a provincial, well, we do now, but we don't have ministers, etc. So I will have more.
Okay, because I
Okay.
noticed they're investing more in local and community housing as well. Is that in addition to what Fred had talked about at the Mesa meeting?
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
It's,
Well, it's
We have a
progress
lot-
rather than not.
absolutely, and we have a lot of projects on the go, like a lot of projects on the go. Knowing I want to run for warden in December, our amazing warden Emo calls me virtually every day or every second day to sort of give me the latest update so that I know what's going on. But there's a lot going on, and then it stopped. So now I'm assuming the legislature will be stood up hopefully in the next 2 weeks. And then we can get going again, but it's sort of been a strange time in government.
Mhm.
Very continuous. Okay, thank you. Invite to the Inclusive Communities event, please going to that at the senior center, anyone?
I can't.
I plan on going, but
Okay, that would be great if you would go.
Did you RSVP or don't?
I did.
RSVP?
I did already.
That was
Are you going, Mark?
Yeah, that was a Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, March
Yeah,
21st.
March 21st. Yeah, because
I think that's why I can't go.
It looks like a great event.
March 21st, I don't have my calendar with me, but there was some reason I couldn't go. There'd be a conflict there.
You can come with me if you change your mind.
Oh, I know
No, I
why,
think I got a
Yeah.
doctor's appointment in Ottawa. I think that's why I couldn't go.
but I did get an invite to the one in Pembroke in April, so we'll go to
Is
that
that the
one.
women's event?
No, that, the women's event is on
It's on a-
Friday
It's on a Bon Valley.
in Eganville, and I can't go on Friday. It's a
Okay.
breakfast,
What date was that?
March 7th. I
Okay.
thought it started at 7 and I was going to go at 7, but it starts at 8 and I have a meeting at 8:30. So doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Can't make them all. EOWC election priorities? Wanna comment on
That they're sort of in limbo as well right now, obviously, but yes, between the OWC and AMO and Roma, we do have our after election priorities. So
County web campaigns, link was provided for all of us to take a look at.
yeah, so one of the most exciting things I think is the Think Local, Think Renfrew, Think Canada.
Yeah.
Which amazingly was designed by our CAO Craig Kelly. Thank goodness for a CAO, formerly a economic development officer. So anyway, so we did have a presentation at county last week. Last week, by the director of our Ottawa Valley Tourist Association. One of the things that I will say that Patrick Brown, the mayor of Brampton, they've been changing their procurement policy and everything else. I think that we need to take a deep breath. We're not a big city. We're gonna have to take a breath and see what this looks like in the next couple of weeks and what we're procuring. The other thing is, there's been a lot of chatter on social media about buying local, buying Canadian. And I do know that people are finding it very difficult and they don't want to be shamed for not buying Canadian, because they can't afford it. And I think that we all have to be kind right now. Yes, I think shopping local is imperative. Obviously, at Christmas time, right?
Yeah.
Tracy and I went and bought, we cleared out Eganville for Christmas gifts for the staff, but that's a priority that we made at this table. But I think that everybody just needs to take a beat. And today has been pivotal on the news. I don't know how much news you watched this morning. I was flipping between CBC and CTV and it's crazy out there. So stay tuned again. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm in a holding pattern on a landing strip at the airport, waiting for the air traffic controller to say I can take off.
It's just upside down the plane, that's all.
Oh, that's a whole other story. So thank you, Chair.
Yeah. There's, it's really uncertainty right now, and then there's local things that do, like Eganville Business and Life, which is the
Yeah.
Facebook group that promotes local businesses. I think Sandra Swain is I could be mistaken, I think she's the moderator for that, but they do a good job of getting together at, I don't know how the frequency, but every couple of months or something. I've been to a couple of their events, so they're connected. Ottawa Valley Food Co-op, I'm not a member yet, but I went on there and it's like, in the end of the day, it's often not more expensive. By the time you pay your gas, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta leave the house and there's no grocery delivery here unless it's local. It's not an online thing, right?
But it's always about education, right?
Yeah,
It's
no,
always
we
about
just need to
saying,
keep promoting
did-
what is the here and how you use it
and cross promoting.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of some of our local businesses, and Helen from My Country Home did an excellent job of at Christmas time getting everybody together to say, this is what our offerings are. So we need cross promotion and what do you have?
Yeah.
Because I think it's too easy to go on Amazon.
And we do a good job with our vendor markets, I was involved in that for a long time, and I know Tammy and Kayla did a good job, and with Helen and all the local to work together to promote their businesses. But it's the things like, like Home Hardware, I know people get flyers, or the other businesses, or BMR, or Country Depot. That's where you're competing with the Amazons and
Agreed.
Those kind of stores. But anyway, all we can do is support, we're not in
That's
their,
right.
in their roles. All right, the MOH report to the board, did you want to touch on that?
Not unless people have questions about it. I didn't come prepared because I missed it at the top of page 2.
Ministry of Health, there, I did it, the acronym,
Very nice.
yeah.
Just as a cross pollination, we had a delegation from the Renfrew County District School Board at county last week. One of the things that they're really tending to is mental health. And as you can see in Jason's report, one of the things that the Board of Health is, the health unit's doing is a segment on eating disorders that I didn't realize is making a large resurgence. And so during
Yes.
county council, I asked the school board, are you including eating disorders, and do you have mentors that have lived experience? Because I think that you can have a doctor or a parent or a teacher tell you that your body is fine. It's totally different coming from somebody that's got lived experience. And I believe that for so many things. I think for drug treatment, alcohol treatment, eating disorders, I don't think it matters what you're talking about. Lived experience can change the game. So I just wanted to touch on that because I thought that it was so important that that our public or our medical officer of health really understood that lived experience for so many things is so important. Peach is the peach.
Right. Comments on this one? No? Thank you. Moving over to correspondence B, so this is a long list today of
And if I may
correspondence.
share, I think you can skip over everything until you get down to
To the requests?
the requests of 8, 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, good, I was just gonna suggest that.
Because I'm like, again,
Does it have legs for us?
holding pattern,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's go to 8.
just go to 8, exactly.
Okay, request from Eganville Minor Hockey.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a yes. The Eganville Skating Club, so I guess that's
Yes.
working with Kevin and getting a
Yes.
schedule, right?
As
Okay,
long as they don't block our Santa Claus parade this year, we want that in mind.
So I,
Just
um,
for clarification for Kevin's probably, it's just on no amount, half the amount deduction.
yeah.
It's only have
previous-
a schedule of fees for that now.
no, what we have, that's for the, like, that is for the rental for upstairs, but this is ongoing, this is, has
For
been.
training.
So all I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I have no problem with any form, like some form of
Yeah.
reduction.
Yeah,
But my recommendation would be to respond back to Alana and just see what she's actually intending, if it's like 4 times, 8 times, 10 times, and if we know a number
Mhm.
of what it is, then we can look at waiving it. Like waiving the entirety of it, that's all I was getting at.
I
just so we
think
know
in
a-
principle, we're in agreement though.
okay, yeah,
So,
yes, I think it's twice a week. In the community center. So I think, the conversation that I had with Alana today was, I just let her know that, like, if we have somebody else in there, like if we have somebody who's willing to pay to rent it that day, then they would lose it.
Right.
But if there's nobody else in there that day, then they could have it. So I guess.
That's a good point.
is there any extra work for Kevin regarding, this is on ice, right? Was this one off ice?
No, so they
Eagles
rent
Nest.
these.
Oh,
they
these
rent
are,
the
I
ice.
got it, yeah.
'Cause they already rent the ice.
Is there like a BOGO deal, like you rent the ice, get a massive discount renting the Eagles Nest, like they do at birthday parties, or no?
No, because quite often they're both rented to different groups at the
Mhm.
same time, and so one person is renting the ice and another person could be up in the Eagle's Nest. So if they've rented the ice, but I guess in between when people are skating, then they do stretches and exercises and things like that. And so if they're gonna be upstairs doing that, it's really the cost is, we've already got staff there, because they're already on the ice.
Right.
The cost is really just to clean up upstairs, when they've, when they finished exercising, so, that's
Could
really.
you request that they
that's
clean up after
cost.
themselves? Like,
mean, yeah,
we cleaned up after the youth summit,
mhm,
right? We didn't leave that to Kevin.
mhm.
I was picking up spaghetti off the floor. Don't
Yeah,
ask,
I mean,
long story.
they still probably would need to mop the floor and they'd still probably, you know, it's possible that the washrooms would need to be done, so that kind of stuff, but. That would really be the only cost.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's probably like, maybe an hour.
Well,
top?
that's why I was curious on what
Mhm.
the number was, because we
Mhm.
ever, like, we have the, I guess you would say our fund that we waived library events with and all that.
mhm.
Like, I don't know why this wouldn't fall under the same category, and that's why I say if we just have a number of,
It's twice a week, so it's gonna eat up the fund very quickly and you're not gonna have anything available to anybody else.
But
Oh,
also
exactly.
looking at the fund, I was thinking, they rent the ice, why wouldn't they have use of the Eagles Nest
Well,
if
that's-
nobody else is using
and
it?
that's why I looked, as like, I thought maybe we didn't have like a BOGO deal.
Yeah,
Like, that's where I was originally thinking about it.
So the action would probably just be checking with Kevin, or what, I guess, A, we didn't not, are we gonna charge them or not, and B, it's work with Kevin, right? With
But I-
schedule.
but I think if Alana is aware that
Mhm.
if something else is going on, they
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
have it.
Well, she just gets the schedule.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's just communication between her
Yeah.
and Kevin.
Okay.
Do they have to wax the floor?
All right, we're moving on, resolution regarding speeding, distracted driving and impaired driving.
Maybe when the government's back in, I don't know how you fix any of that.
You don't, it's still worse than ever, isn't it?
Agreed.
Nothing in correspondence C, so going on to new and unfinished business, I think you mentioned you didn't have a report.
I don't
but-
have a formal report, but I do want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, Mayor Mark McKenzie from McNabb Braeside stepped down. We will be welcoming Mayor Lori Hodnott. She's being sworn in at 5 today. She will be joining us at County Council. The new deputy mayor is now Scott Broom, and they will be putting out applications for a council member. We also had a council member in Madawaska Valley step down, so they will be putting out applications for a new council member. And congratulations to Billy Deneau for winning as our new MPP for the PC caucus. So Arnprior will also be putting out for a new council member. So
Lots of
there's
new
a-
jobs out there if
there's-
anyone's looking.
There's a lot going on in the county of Renfrew. But I do want to congratulate Billy, but I also want to congratulate Marshall Buchanan, who ran for the NDP, and Oliver Jacob, who ran for the Liberals, and the other candidates. I think it took a lot of guts. It was a winter election, it was a quick election, and I think that they did a really, really, really good job considering the timing. Yeah, it's a whole new dawn, it's a whole new day without Yak, so Billy's ready to step in, which is
You
exciting.
only stick your signs in the snowbanks.
Oh my gosh, one of the funniest Facebook posts was actually Marshall that said, if you don't see our signs, the ground is frozen, and then it snowed, and then they could put them in the snowbanks. So then there were hundreds of them in the snowbanks. But no, I think it took a lot of guts for all of them, and it's very impressive, good on all of them, but yeah.
I said the same thing. I went to Marshall's event that night.
Oh, yeah.
At the end, I said the same thing on behalf of council, and I'm just very proud, and it's
Yeah.
not easy sticking your neck out there and having your life under the microscope. You're right?
No, it is not.
It's not easy
No, it is
work.
not.
Well,
One of the things that we used to do with Yak, I think Peter initiated it his last year of his last term of warden, which would have been 2016, where he had a warden's advisory council and they would meet with Yak every couple of months. And so we are already going to establish that with Billy, where he will be given trial by fire with some of county council and some of our staff, just so he's aware of some of the underlying things that are going on, not just the big ticket items, but some of the other initiatives that we have going on.
Mhm.
Well, I was a little disappointed in, on the Friday before, I saw a sign in the snow said vote here. I said to Jean, well, let's go look around on the bottom of Grace. to see if it's an advanced poll. There's nowhere anywhere there was a sign saying it was an advanced poll.
Oh, when I voted, it
I
said
didn't-
that.
I
For the
didn't-
Legion?
Yeah, no,
That's,
Sorry.
no, for
Grace.
Grace Lutheran.
Yeah.
We voted on Saturday.
we voted on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I thought they'd have a sign of some advanced poll out by the.
it just said vote.
it
Yeah,
said
a
vote.
yellow
Yeah.
vote sign, no,
Yeah.
it's advanced.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
yeah.
You're right.
Anyways, it's all over for another 4
But
years.
wasn't that incredible that we had electronic voting and that we got results at 9 o'clock or 9:09?
Yeah,
That was wild.
yeah,
It was wild.
it was nice
Yeah.
compared to.
So we're not doing it, but we,
I like,
I know,
I like
that's
the,
my-
I like the
Sa-
projector.
Sandra, we're not getting rid of your projector.
No.
I see it. I see it made the cut in the kitchen.
Yeah, but in 100 years, I think it'd be great if we still use the projector.
But no, the microwave from 1975 and the primary school overhead projector made the cut in the cleanup of the kitchen.
As they should.
Yeah, but no, so, yeah, that's all, there's a lot going on in the county right now with, but I think things will calm down in the next few weeks, so. I had something else, but now I can't think of it.
You remember, just put in the
Yeah.
regular
Yeah.
council.
Yeah, no, the other thing is typing is not on my side right now, that's, yeah.
Exactly. So moving on then, the museum update, so they've provided the list of
Yes.
upgrades. Anybody have any questions or issues, concerns?
No,
with that?
but thank you for having them send that along. I think that's. It's nice for council to know, and I think I agree with John. John, you said like quarterly, right? If we could just get I think that's appropriate. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything in the lease that needs to be looked at again?
The whole
Okay.
lease, it's expired.
Okay.
yeah,
I
but
thought some of the language and stuff in there maybe needs to be redone.
but we were talking about it before the meeting. Why is it only a few years? Like, it's the museum.
Yeah.
Why don't,
It was a 20-year lease
yeah,
and they have indicated their intention to renew for 5 years.
that's what I don't understand.
That's-
Why only 5?
I don't know, that's, I think that's what I was thinking.
Okay,
Yeah, it was only because. Well, we can do an open, I have no problem with that, but it was only because most of the stipulations in the lease are like a 3 years to terminate, so like a 5-year extension. It just, to me, it's like, we're gonna extend it, we'd extend it to like 10 years, because it makes the most logical sense, and then we don't have to redo it again, because. Like there's stipulations for notice to end, or 3 years, and then the 2 years are to curate.
yeah,
And then the only thing I would say is just, I know in the one component lease, like 15 for, like when they're talking about their list they provided, it was just more on just. To make sure they're providing a detail for like the improvements they're looking for. That was the only thing, like, I don't think there really needs to be made changes to it, but it's just more on the alterations, petitions and improvements. So just with the request, just to make sure that. So we can actually budget for some of these items and go over it, right? And all I'm saying is more details based off of this list, because it's very generic.
because I don't think they're ready yet.
No,
No,
I
and
think that was what Kayla kind of indicated that I think they wanted to do some more fundraising. Am I wrong? Okay, good. I'm right about that. I don't think they're there yet. I think that list is actually just the things that they think
oh,
need to
no,
be upgraded.
I think
they can
they're,
handle.
no, like, I think.
Yes,
I,
good point.
I think it's a good starting point, and then all it leads is to walk through with, say, staff and Annette, and just to go through it, actually narrow it down to actually knowing what we're looking at doing, that's all. That's all I was getting at, because it stipulates in the lease, and that's number 15.
Which I think Kevin does already in terms of checking on the furnace and, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So the next item is Annette, your report was deferred from last meeting. You want to walk us through that?
So we do have a co-op student, if anybody's been into the office lately, so Gabe Fitzmaurice is helping us out in the afternoons. He won't be here next week because it's March break, but we are definitely happy to have him. He definitely is interested in public administration and moving in that direction. So I've already asked him that when he completes his time here in co-op, if he would come and do a presentation to council to sort of talk about the experience. So very comfortable to do that. Not everybody is, but I could tell he seemed fairly comfortable to do that. So I asked him if he would, and he said he would.
Is he
So,
an Algonquin student?
he's
Opeongo.
Oh, young, oh, high school student. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So I met him and his parents at Foodland.
Yeah.
My very first year, he was the very first kid to call me Mayor Jen.
What's his first name?
Gabe.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Gabe. Yeah, his mother's a French teacher.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah. He's on Reach for the Top and
Mhm.
all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
We really want to embarrass him, we can bring him in.
He should wear his Super Mario suit to work. He's a good speaker. I don't think he'd be.
No, he
Yeah.
seems
Confident
very
individual.
comfortable. That's why I asked.
Yeah, yeah.
You can kind of sort of tell if someone might be
He's a
comfortable or
really
not,
good,
so.
really good student.
Yeah, he's been very helpful with them, so he's just here in the afternoons for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And, I did, attach the sort of the letters from our delegations at Roma and, basically, you know, the different presentations and delegations and things that we went to, other than when I was, you know, very, very sick. Because I got very, very sick while we were away, but, I don't have, unless there's questions about that, probably this is pretty old news, so, yeah.
I did text Z, after the election and congratulated him on his win. And said that I hope that he's still part of Ministry of Finance.
Okay, excellent.
Everybody I had personal numbers for, I texted to congratulate.
So Wyland Shore, we had received a letter that was sent in that was asking some questions about Wyland Shore. And I just wanted to give council some background on Wyland Shore. And so I've listed it here in my report from 2003 to 2023. So really the latest thing was Jason was working on the topographical study, doing consultation with M&R for some redesign work on that road, which that's sort of where we ended it because it's very, very expensive. A lot of things would have to go into that to be able to change that road. And I also talked to Kevin to just see about the buoys, and they are installed at Wyland Shore and Bulow Beach every year, as well as annual maintenance that's performed every year. And our parking bylaw, which is enforced by MLES on a complaint basis. So those were some of the conversations in the letter. Just wanted to clarify that, but that this time, you know, there's no plans currently for redevelopment or for doing anything there with the water access. And again, talking to Jason and talking to Kevin, both of them recommend that at the moment we keep the status quo for what's there now. But, you know, happy to answer any questions or take questions back if council has further concerns. You know, I know some of you have spoken to the resident themselves, so, you know, happy to have more conversations directly with the resident or with council through council. You know,
I just think that when we solve something at this table and it gets reassessed, it's problematic. Because I think that the residents, this is not just about this particular issue, but any issue. I think we came to a compromise, we solved the problem to the best of our abilities. And I think it's frustrating to residents when items like this are brought back up and it puts them back in a situation where they're wondering about what we're gonna do.
No, I'm appreciative of you actually bringing it up. Like when that email got sent out, obviously you had sent it to me and I called the resident because most of the stuff wasn't accurate in relation to myself. And I had a great 30-minute conversation with the resident as well. And that's why I asked her to bring it up, just be like, hey, what historically have we done? Because I don't think we've said we're going to do anything at this table, neither has there been intention to. But I kind of, and the reason I brought it up was because it kind of leads, I guess, into one of the items that I spoke about when I presented stuff I want to do, which was the annual ratepayers meeting. And that's something I know we're going to be talking about, but the reason for that was because I thought within the letter, there was merits to it, more the history of it. It's an educational for council as well, certainly as Wyland Shore. But when it comes to a ratepayers meeting, all I was looking to do, and this is one of our items, was just to try to establish an opportunity for residents come up, present to council in 2-minute intervals, and just present to us. So I was thinking like a June 17th and like having our
Okay, well,
regular
we're
meeting.
not done with the minutes. report yet. We'll get to that item. That's next on the list, I believe.
Well, they tie in together, Jen, that's the only reason.
Okay, well, if you want to do it now, I will. If this is something that you'd like to do, I'd like to see it terms of reference. Do people enter their questions beforehand? How much time are they given? Do they get a supplementary? Is it a debate? Who answers their questions? Do we get to take away questions? When do we answer them?
So.
There are already mechanisms in the municipal act that allow residents through delegation or simply a phone call, email, getting something in correspondence to ask us a question. Something like this could be actually detrimental. We were elected to sit at this table to make good decisions for our ratepayers. And this could actually derail or actually cause problems which we don't need between different portions of Bonnechere Valley.
But I guess my question, so first thing, I guess you should ask on what my intentions are. So my intentions on it is just to have residents, so it's an open forum for council to listen to residents. It's not a back and forth environment that my intention is. All it is just having an opportunity. So we sit up and we listen to residents, no different than when we talked about, when we're redoing our zoning bylaws within the municipality. We did an open forum, residents came in, they read a 2-minute or 3-minute presentation to council about their concerns with the changes. It's no different than what I'm here, because the thing is all my intention, be it criticism, be it positive, be it a thank you, all it is an opportunity for residents to provide orally, present to council. And all I'm saying is it's a discussion for council. This is something that I just thought would be beneficial.
Just so everybody is aware, the zoning bylaw, that's a legislative thing to have a public meeting under the Planning Act. So that's the first thing. But I would like to know what else, but what you didn't bring, Brent, I'd like to know what everybody else thinks, but what you didn't bring was a terms of reference. And until we have a terms of reference, I don't know how we organize without knowing what your thought process was when we already have the ability. You can come to council as a delegate. You fill out the delegation request, you send it to Annette, she puts you as a delegation, and you sit and you have 10 minutes.
Well, I think there's a difference between 10-minute presentation and giving someone an opportunity for 2 minutes. When you're talking about terms of reference, I don't think we should be stemming conversation at the table, in the sense that all I'm trying to say is, hey, here's an annual ratepayers meeting. It's just like, what does council think about doing one? The terms of reference can be established by council, and if this is something that we're interested in doing. And like, I'm not saying that I'm the one that's going to dictate all of these requirements or what we're expecting. I'm saying that, hey, you know what? I think that there is merit to doing an annual ratepayers meeting where us as council can sit up front and we listen to concerns. Maybe it's an idea someone has or anything. It's no different than when we sat there for the county requirements for zoning. It's like, I actually thought there's a lot of merit to listening to residents, listening to their concerns, their comments, and some of them could be thank yous. So it's like, I don't see what there's an issue with that. Yes, someone could come and do a delegation, and that's where I'm getting at is, I understand your concern at back and forth, and that's not the intention of it.
I'm not against the
Does
idea.
someone else want to weigh in? John, do you have any, just that we get around the table, just
Yeah.
what people think about
I
it?
just don't want people to think I'm against this idea.
yeah. No,
What I'm against is just having a date and then all of a sudden it's open forum.
Well,
That's
this
my
is
concern.
kind of discussion.
Do you have any comments, John?
Yeah,
You wanna
I have
comment?
no concerns about having a meeting as long as we kind of know what to expect. You don't want to get blindsided. But the two things that I can think of where residents have approached me, I must confess, I either talk to somebody else on council or actually to Annette mostly. And Annette will help me sometimes to sort out that this maybe isn't even a council issue. And some of the traffic stuff is very complicated. So I like to
It's a
go
good
to her as
example,
a
too.
first place. So we would, if people did provide their questions in writing, we could, some of them may not belong, or like I say, they all could belong there, but we might be limited as to what we can do to help them or to address their concerns. But I'm not afraid of talking to people.
Neither am I.
Mark,
I
how about
just-
you?
That whole Wyland Shore thing has been a can of worms off for years. The actual road allowance is under the lake. And the road now is on private property. The shack on the corner is on our township property. Further on in, the road was not brushed out. The fire trucks couldn't even get in. I mean, it's been a can of worms for years.
How do you feel about town hall meetings?
Huh?
Sorry, wait, I call them town hall meetings. How do you
Well,
feel
I
about
mean,
that?
yeah, we're welcome. I don't know. Come and talk, but I know it's been a can of worms, like, there's no parking there and you're supposed to park up at
Oh,
the
yeah.
recreation ground. And I mean, it's just, it's been a can of worms.
I think the thing is like, I think open communication and forums is great. It's just, you know, working in the municipal sector, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to host a town hall. I've done several of them and it's a lot of pre-planning up front. You want to make sure you're not going to be derailed up there and have to sit there and suffer from, you know, accusations or why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? So it's not just a simple quick, here's the date, let's do it.
That's
There's a lot
exactly
of
what
work
it's-
for.
Murray, I just want to clarify, the Wyland Shore thing is different. What Brent is asking is for a general annual ratepayer meeting where they get to come and ask us questions. Not only
It's
about
not,
Wyland Shore.
I don't think that's accurate. I'm not saying to ask questions. What I'm saying is to for them to actually present something to council and council just to listen. I'm not saying a back and forth or anything like that. What I'm saying is someone no different than people presented their concerns when they came to like, so when we did, I think the zoning is an excellent example. People presented what they came to present on. And if you have a topic within our municipality or what's concerning to them, you present it. The expectation is not for council to have it back and forth. It's for us to go up top and listen. And then we could itemize and take that back and have a discussion on a later date. The intention is not to do what you'd see as a political town hall or anything like that. All I'm saying is it's a venue for us just to listen to residents who want to come out.
Okay, so we're not answering questions.
No,
then.
and that's what I'm saying is just the whole point is just to listen to a resident.
Okay, well, I do that every day, so if we're gonna do it in a public forum, I guess that's okay.
Sure.
Well, that's only annual though, right? That you're only getting this, you're suggesting annually?
So all,
I'm just saying, I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not possible. The end result could be possible. You could have, you know, resident days here every quarter or something. I don't know. Delegation day. They already know they need to organize a delegation, or do they? Do people know that?
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
and the thing is, this doesn't mean we're gonna do it every single year. What I'm saying is like, hey, this is something I think that we could trial, we can set up. And be it we do it in June or be we do in the fall. The only reason I said June was because I just thought for everybody, people would be opening their cottages in the area, and then if we wanted, but that's up to council. I'm one member here that's just saying, hey, you know what? Why don't we have a discussion on it and see what we all think on it and see if it's something we want to do?
I would
So
like to see a terms of reference before, I wanna know what, obviously you're hearing something. And I'm obviously not hearing it, because I talk to residents, several of them, almost every day. So you're obviously hearing something that I'm not hearing. So I would like to know if you're hearing that residents want to come and, you know, walk around the Festivus pole and air their grievances. I'm fine with that, but I still want to know what it looks like. And I think that we're going to look very foolish if people come to us and say, this is my challenge, what are you gonna do about it? And the five of us sit there
Can't
and
sit and
go,
say anything.
we're not answering your questions, this is just for you to air grievances. I
Well-
think we're gonna look foolish. And I think the natural inclination is that at least one of us is going to want to answer the question. And then you're getting into a debate, and then you're getting into, all I wanna know, Brent, is what do you see this looking like? That's what I wanna know.
well, no, I guess on my end, I would say we look no different than how and when we did the rezoning, it's like people came up, they presented what they wanted to discuss, and then they sat down. There wasn't any follow-ups or anything of that.
I answered questions. I answered every single person that came to the microphone. Every single human that stood there, I talked to them. So I think that's where I want to know, what does it look like? Are they submitting questions beforehand? Are we going to be blindsided, as you just said, John? I think if you're hearing that this is something that ratepayers want, I'm all in.
Mhm.
But I wanna know what it looks like before we even set a date. I wanna set expectations. I wanna know that we're not going in to have people say, well, you're the worst council ever, or your budget sucks, or whatever.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that we know what we're getting into, especially
That's you.
because we do have two members that have never been in a forum like this. So I know probably in your previous lives, but I'm talking municipally. I'm getting the side eye by Tracy. I just think I wanna know what it looks like before I even wanna vote on it, for lack of a better.
Are you asking for a brief?
Yes,
No, and that's fine.
in terms of reference.
Yeah,
But if-
I call it the old executive brief.
But if this is something the council would think about doing, then I have no problem putting together some briefs and I can call each person as I'm doing it as well, just see what their concerns are and going through that. That's no issues.
But you've obviously heard things, so what have you heard that people want?
What do you mean? So all I'm recommending is, all I'm trying to do is just be like, hey, this is another avenue for people to share their ideas. It's no different than going to, like, say, your EACDG meetings or anything else. I'm just saying, just gives another opportunity, because not everyone is comfortable doing delegation, not everyone's is emails in or calls in as well. I'm just saying, I don't see where the error is just trying to host an event, and I have no problem putting together what a brief would look like. That's
But
all.
these actually would be delegates at a public forum. How much time are they getting? If you're saying 2 minutes, that's great.
Mhm.
Who else
But-
is speaking, what are we presenting? all that
Exactly,
stuff.
right,
Yeah.
but I think that the idea has merit, even though I feel that if you've got a challenge, coming as a delegate to council is the way to do it, because then we know that it's on the public record and that we have to deal, or we have to figure out a way that our residents can be taken care of. I think that there could be challenges associated with this forum. But again, I've never been against it, but I don't even want to plan a date without seeing what it's gonna look like. Because as this is not me pulling rank or anything else, but as head of council, people are going to want me to answer their questions. It is just like the public meeting for the zoning bylaw, it is gonna fall on me.
Well,
And
and the thing is like, that can be a part of like our conversation as well. It's just like, what do we want to look like afterwards as well? Like, do we wanna, it's no different than, say, after we did our debate or whatever like that, and when we're actually like doing the election, it's like people came and talked to everyone afterwards as well. So all I'm trying to do is stimulate conversation, seeing if this is something we want to look at. And that's the whole point of it, because if you look at most of our agendas, they've been dry over the last year, and I'm just trying to help stimulate. That's all I'm trying to do.
see, I firmly disagree with you. I think that we've done a lot, and I think that our strategic plan especially, and I've said this over and over and over again, having staff so heavily involved in our strategic plan, they have buy-in to the strat plan now, so it's not just a council document, it's a document with all of our heads.
And where
And-
you said what objective it's trying to achieve.
Exactly,
That's what Annette's really added to, when you look at these reports, is that it is aligned with our strategic objective,
absolutely.
everything.
And
we
I
do.
think that to that point, Tracy, I think that people have to understand that we do have a strategic plan, and we can't take on, we're only 5 people here, we have a limited staff. As amazing as they are, there you go, Sandra, I used your word, as awesome as you guys are, you can only take on so much. And I think that our strat plan speaks to that we have decided what our priorities are. And so I want, if we're gonna do this ratepayer meeting, I want to make sure that our strat plan is front and center, whether we print copies for people so that they understand this is the path that we've decided. And again, respectfully, Brent, I don't think we have been stagnant, to use your word, and I don't think that we've been stale. There's been a lot going on, and all I know is that I work for the betterment of this community every single day, so I don't know what more I can do.
Maybe we should let it, sorry, I was gonna say let Annette finish and we'll get back to, because there's a couple things that relate to Brent's report. And for further discussion
Yeah.
on the report, maybe let Annette finish, and then, or John, did you want to ask a question first?
Oh, well, I was gonna say, just quickly, that a public forum has some merit. People either could bring a, you've done well, they can bring a, you could do better, or here's a brand new idea. Those are the kind of the three categories. And there are some people, I meet in Rankin Center 2 nights ago, and they had an idea for me. And I like dealing with that because I can help them work it out, and they may never need to come to do a delegation. Some people are intimidated by delegations, or maybe even in a town hall, because there'll be 6 people behind them, and they'll be carefully trying to think of how they're gonna say what they want to say. So I'm quite happy with the fact that people approach me individually, and I promise them, okay, I'll listen to you, I'll make some suggestions. And sometimes we can deal with it without again going farther, and often Annette will help me deal with it. So I'm happy with that. And I know that when I suggested to one person recently about doing a delegation, it took a little bit of convincing her that that is an appropriate way for her to go, but she would need other people and a little more bolstering before she would sit in that chair and create a delegate.
And unfortunately, that particular situation, there is nothing council can do.
Yeah.
I forwarded it, it got looked into, you forwarded it, and that looked into it, Jason looked. There's nothing more we can do. This is a driver error situation. Going back to that piece of correspondence.
Right.
But everyone who approaches me quietly, because they don't want to sit in that chair just yet, presents an opportunity to maybe we can do something for them. So we go through that.
And I'm glad that people are coming up to you and asking you, but yeah, let's do this,
Yeah,
but
on the
John,
go.
it's
We're gonna talk more about
every
this,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Annette, we're sorry. Please finish.
So, the next part was already dealt with at council, because I think, Sandra kind of said this is a timely matter. We'd like to get back to SPCA. So I did get back to them. So they're setting a May date. They will be advertising it. And so hopefully, having this, program brought a little
That's
closer to home.
helpful. That is helpful,
You know.
because I know Whiskers started, Whiskers and Alley Cats, there's a whole stream of volunteers
Mhm.
who gather up the kitties at Lisa's, so whomever the volunteer is at like
Mhm.
5 o'clock in the morning. And take
Yeah.
them and then drive them to these places, so it's really helpful that they can do that here.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately,
they-
it's not dogs, but.
No, yes, not at this time. They used to have the mobile
Yep.
unit that went around, but it's,
Well, that's the price they quoted, right? What I told you, I think it was
Yeah.
like 2,500 a day for this.
well,
mobile
it's not
unit.
even available anymore.
Oh, they just
So
had it.
it,
on-
no, it
okay.
was a provincial,
Okay.
mobile unit.
Yeah.
And it has now been, it's now in one spot and it's staying there. They're not moving it, and it's up north. So the
Yeah.
problem is, up north, they really don't have anything,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
anywhere to go.
Right.
And so, they made a decision that was where the most need was, and they were no longer gonna take that from the north and bring it down here.
Yeah.
Because we do have other options, other, with, more affordable places. I know, Brockville and places
That's what I was
like that
gonna
are,
say, but
they're a
those-
little bit far.
For those listening, but you know, when you go shopping, you go over the border, that's what I did, and I took my rescue dog in, you take it to Leeds Grenville Neutering Clinic.
Yeah.
And it's a little over $200 with tax, just everybody listening that knows, so it's for your dog, cat, this was for a dog, it was well over 200.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's significant,
That's
if you've
significant.
got like grocery shopping to do in a day, or
Yeah.
kids shopping, whatever, you drop off your cat or dog and then pick them up at
John
4.
wanted to know if the person that drove all these kitties got basically danger pay.
So it's,
He's gonna be a volunteer driver.
I drove through that big snowstorm, sorry, up north of Barrie with a rescue dog. I saved in
Wow.
Bancroft.
Yeah.
10 hours through a blizzard, back roads. GPS sent me on these back roads anyway.
Oh,
Holy smokes.
yes, that road is terrible. I know
Holy
exactly
smokes.
which one.
I didn't think we are gonna make it.
Yeah, it always recommends going, I know which exactly.
Oh my God, Mr. Vicious in the back,
Mhm.
not a word out about.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Anyway, that's great. that
no,
they're-
so that I already,
That
reached out to them and
Yeah.
told them it was a
Great.
go, so we'll start with that, and then who knows where things will go in future, because, as the SPCA told me, that mobile unit is no longer on the move. It has to stay up there, because we do have spots down here that are within driving distance and
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
places up north that,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
literally they're driving probably 7-8 hours just to get to this
More
mobile
and more.
unit.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awful.
So
The culling and stuff
to
that's
move
going
it-
on up north.
To move
is
it would be a
terrible.
problem, so.
Yeah.
So I understood that, but
Yeah.
you know, they may come up with another mobile unit sometime, or they may come up with a a
It's just
similar thing
It's
for dogs.
economic
not just
relief,
cats.
right?
Yeah.
For residents, because the price of bedding is just.
You know, the irony is not lost on me, though. We gained all this parking and now we've got a CCAN and now we're gonna have the SPCA with the kitties. We're just filling up all the parking spots.
There's cuddle time and there's some human benefit here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How many kitties will fit into a sea can?
All right.
So that's all that I had. There was,
Okay.
I went through
Perfect.
Erica and Sarah's report that were provided as part of the last agenda, and I didn't see anything they were looking for staff direction on, so.
Yeah.
I'll just leave that as it is till, because we'll all be reporting again
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
So nobody needs to be here for that. It's just for them to
Yeah, no,
pick
just
up, drop off.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah, so they just
ungodly hour in the morning, I suspect.
Yes, yes, so they'll be dropping
Yeah.
off, their cats, there's a SPCA collects a $20 fee
Yeah.
for travel, which is nothing when you consider how far they're going.
Oh, I
But I
know.
mean, they've got all the cats
Good
in one,
deal.
and then whatever the price is, I thought it was about $130. So that's a pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty affordable, expense. So
Well-
hopefully people take advantage of it.
Comparatively,
Mhm.
it's still a lot of money, but comparatively.
And if it goes well, they may do the one, because they do one in Pembroke every year, they may do one here every year as well. That'd be,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, moving on. So
Can we
Brent,
take 5?
yeah, I
Thank you.
forgot, I should have done that.
No, this is a good time.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Feel pick up the news reporter here. We were just in the section of new and unfinished business and talking about elements of this report and the idea of having a town hall ratepayers meeting. I just have a thought on this. I think obviously open communication is good. It'd be nice to go around if this, I don't know, again, depending on staff time or interest, mess the program. I don't know if many people know about that. In terms of aligning a meeting with having guest speakers. I'm trying to think of interest in the community where it's a wow, it's a wow moment. I didn't know that Renfrew County did this, or
It's still amazing to me that some people don't know about our CV TAC.
same thing, VTAC, all of that is new here, scheduling appointments, and I was gonna say too, about the tech, where to get cell service, just things that people may not be able to pick all the puzzle pieces out. If that's a consideration too, if we agree to do it some sort of town hall, I personally would want to add speakers and content based on the county.
Okay.
That's some of the
take that
things
back
that
to
you've mentioned in your report. These wins, 9.5 million, like the big stuff, right? And I don't think people
Well, I just found that was ironic. It's 9.47 million. It's almost 9.5 million, and it did not make the Eganville leader. And so when a good news story like that is sitting in our laps, and we're talking major investments in some of our county roads, I find that very odd.
So case in point, a good time maybe would have been around our strat planning session and the outcomes of that. In
Yeah.
terms of people's interest in what they want to hear about, because I definitely don't want it to be a complaint session, like to your point of setting it up, the agenda and objectives, setting it up, doing your research ahead of time to see what people, they interested, and what do they want to hear.
Well, so I think Brent brought it to the table. So if
Yeah.
Brent would give us some terms of reference at our next meeting, I think that then we can make some decisions.
That's just my.
And
two
then we
cents
can
on it.
tweak whatever we think that it should look like.
Mhm.
Cause I'm not against I have communication all the time,
Yeah.
so I'm in. If it's I don't mind speaking in front of a large group. I don't mind answering questions. But I don't think it's fair for any one of us to be blindsided with anything.
No, as we said, there's a lot of animosity right now, given current events and economic climate as well.
Oh, yes, there is.
I don't have to repeat that.
No, but I think that, we thought that it was angry and bad during COVID or just after COVID. I think it's worse now.
Yeah, I do too.
I
I
think,
wasn't in office then, but it's all over social and it is awful.
but you were on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, yeah, forget about being a politician,
Yeah.
little p politician. I know none of us like being called politicians.
No,
I think that there's a inherent anger out there across the board for all levels of government and a frustration.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, definitely. I wasn't at the last meeting and when you were presenting your report, and Brent, I don't want it to be the pick on Brent moment, but
Yeah, no
I was
worries.
really kind of disappointed in your statement that you think that we've been coasting, because I know in my first 6 months, I pretty much achieved my campaign objectives for 4 years. So I guess maybe I didn't understand, Jen, what you're looking for, but I didn't think it was the fulsome report. But we also didn't ask what we've done to date as part of
You're
our campaign
correct.
promises, right?
You're correct.
So
And
I
I
don't know if
should
you
have.
want that in the future, but
Maybe we should
I would
ask
not
for that.
say we're coasting by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
So I know myself and my own wins, such things, and promises I made and succeeded on, I feel very proud.
As you should be. As we all should be.
And I think a lot of their stuff, Brent, a lot of this just seems to fit into the strategic plan, like that it's extra. And there are things, and it's operational and it's great, if these are things that if you wanted things that we're gonna do personally.
That was the
Yeah.
intent, yes.
Sorry, I got a little taken aback by the list, because a lot of these things, like we had our strategic planning session and we agreed on what our objectives were to be and to curb, staff time on things, because every little bit adds up, that was an eye opener being on council at the beginning is how regimented and budgeted every single line item is.
Well, and
So
if
we
you
don't
look
want to
at our
be,
budget to actuals for this year,
yeah.
it's kind of,
Like, but we
Amazing.
can't find $500 because everything's budgeted. It's pretty tight.
Yep.
So, there's many things that will take staff time, like the town hall. Not that it's not a great thing, but we have to be cognizant of that. And those are the decisions we made at the strat planning session. So,
It's no different there. When I talked about that we, to list the services that we do provide that we're mandated to and what not to, so we're making our decisions. No different than last year, Kevin provided us all the recreational reports there for the nonprofit agencies that we waive fees for or not. No different than when we're adding things and removing things that we review as a whole. And a lot of these things, it's more just to, and I had a great meeting with Annette and I went through a lot of these items as well, clarified any questions he had. And I'd be happy to answer any of them as well. But most importantly, my intention on it, we do have 2 years left. And a lot of this was just on, these are items that I think that we can work on. And the biggest thing for it too is just that they're conversation starters as well. So I listed off things that I think we currently do, and I think we can do it better. And that's just when we're making decisions to add things or remove, no different. We're gonna be talking about clean up the lake event, and I'd be happy to explain that to everyone as well and go through that. That's a conversation for the council as a whole to discuss. All I'm looking at is just a laser focus on, well, this was the list that I put together that that was the laser focus that I looked at, and I'm happy to review any of it.
I just think personally, like I gave up my input during the strat planning session, when we worked for a day and doing that, right, that was it, done, and anyway, so maybe I misunderstood, Jen, what you were looking for.
No, but you know what, that was my bad for not asking what you've already achieved. So I think we will do that at our next meeting or maybe
Okay.
the meeting after that. However, that being said, the comments I received about Brent's report after that meeting was that it was very operational. And one of the things that you started with was that it wasn't going to cost the ratepayers any money. And I had one ratepayer who was very diligent and estimated that this would take at least one more, I believe they said one more roads employee, one more admin, and half a recreation person. So I think that that's a consideration when we're looking at the list to make sure, again, that we're not overburdening our already overburdened and hardworking staff. And knowing that we can't add staff because we just don't have the resources. We have to be careful about what we pick and choose to do. But that being said, I mean, like, I think that, yes, it's a conversation starter, but we did have our strategic plan. We did agree what we were going to do. And I'll say it one more time, that staff engagement in that strat plan, it couldn't have been more important, especially at this time. I don't think that staff have been that engaged in a strategic plan here ever. So it was really important, and I think that they've bought in, that they're recognizing in their reports what initiative they're doing that speaks to our strategic plan. So that was the only thing I heard, was that, wait a minute, this is gonna take more staff, because apparently most of our residents understand how hard you guys work, which is pretty incredible.
Okay, does anyone else have any comments about that? Just so we can get into the request about the lake cleanup. The only thing, my comment on that, I don't want to speak first because I wasn't here, is to include all lakes and then align it with one of the community cleanup days. And I
think that's why Jason put it in the report that we do have.
yeah,
We already have it. My question to you was, why Lake Clear?
yeah, mine too. Why not the other lakes? Because it would seem like it's an olive branch with Lake Clear. I'm sorry, given all the issues we've had.
I missed what you
I
said.
said it would seem like an olive branch to Lake Clear,
Oh,
rather than be inclusive of all the lakes and aligning back to our environmental priorities.
So if I may, or
Yeah,
if
go ahead.
Brent wants to clarify, so when the report was presented, and Brent and I had a conversation with this after, and when I left it exactly as it was deferred to the last meeting, because I didn't want to change it and then have someone go, oh, where did that go? That was on the last meeting, it was supposed to be deferred, and now it's not on the next meeting, right? So I left the title exactly as it is, but that was my interpretation when I saw cleanup around Lake Clear. Similar thing, clean up the lake event, and I had a discussion with Jason, and I said, well, if we want to clean up around the lakes, can we add it to ditch stakes? That makes sense. The dumps are open, you can take stuff, and he said, yeah, that absolutely makes
That
sense.
floats up by then.
So that was my interpretation,
Mhm.
which is not actually what Brent
Brent
intended
wants,
and what he
okay.
said.
oh,
So I apologize for that. It was a misinterpretation. I think it's still a good idea, and I think Public Works supports it, so clean up around the lakes on ditch day, I think council supports that, so.
Mhm.
You're just, I would say inclusive of all our lakes, not just
Perfect,
Lake
yes,
Claire.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
we'll
and that
move,
was the purpose of Jason adding that in his report.
yes, so we'll move forward with that if committee is okay with that. And then I'll let Brent explain my misunderstanding of of the Lake Clear cleanup event, because I misinterpreted that and I apologize. And if that then has to be added to another meeting because it's not part of this discussion, fine. But I just want to be clear, I misunderstood cleanup event.
Now I'm confused. Did the lakes think that they were prohibited from our ditch
No,
day?
no,
Oh.
well, it's not that they were prohibited, but ditch
Not
day is very
highlighted.
specific. And
Oh,
and-
I just called it ditch day because that's what
It
we used to
sounds
call
good.
when you played hooky in school, you had a ditch
Right.
day.
But then in Brent's report where it said, and I don't have the exact word in front of me,
No,
but it said clean up around Lake Clear.
Yeah,
I took it as clean up around the lake. So that's when, yeah, I was like, well, why don't we clean up around all the lakes and bring it on ditch day? But I misunderstood what he meant by clean up around Lake Clear, so
so what did you mean?
sorry about that.
Yeah, so no, I had a good conversation with Nat, where a lot of the things like this, it's no different than anything in the list. Anyone can call me and ask specifically what I'm talking about, and that's why I decided to add a couple. So what I meant up by the Clean the Lake event, so obviously I drive a lot, and I was thinking about what else we do, and I know other municipalities do it. So when I first looked at it, I thought it was a large item removal day. So I looked at the township as a 10-year period where we would ask our staff to break our township up into, say, 10 years where we could successfully go around to our residents, and we would pick up large items that are on the curbside or into the laneway. My intention and thought process on this was that, and the reason for Lake Clear was because I was kind of thinking of a tight population that's easy serviceable, but I'm open up. I actually thought that the simplest way to do it was a 10-year raffle. If we have staff bring it down, be like, hey, we could probably do it in 8 years. But my initial intention was that we have summer students at this township. We have a loader and a dump truck. All I was thinking of it, and same as a junior firefighting program to get back to the community, all my original thought was, what happens if we did a 1-year trial, be it this year or we do it next year, or maybe not at all, was just to actually have our summer students go around and we have our works department on a loader and a dump truck, and we take away large items, no different than the no different
Okay,
than this.
that is totally not what I thought.
No, and then, but then no different than no different than the snow drifters voucher we give out. And my whole intention is just to see if this is something that council potentially will review, then we would ask, say, Jason and Nat to see how that would actually look at. But that was actually the intention of it. So when I talked about especially doing Lake Clear, because when I was
It's
first.
not what I thought. I thought you meant actual thing at the lake.
I didn't,
Yeah.
I
No,
totally misunderstood.
No, and that's why, like, I have a cell phone and we're only limited time to discuss, and that's why I wanted to put it on, because I just thought it was a unique event, and I know other townships do large items, so I was thinking about it, I was like, what is the simplest way to do it? I was like, well, we own a loader, we own a dump truck, and we have summer students that are in the municipality. They could put these large items on, and when I say 10-year, that's a realistic, I think, time frame to actually maneuver around the township. But so this is just a conversation piece.
Yeah.
So then you have a deep freeze and a mattress.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put it at the end of my laneway.
Yep.
And then I tape maybe my voucher.
No, the vouchers
go
are
away.
off.
For 1 week,
No, this is supposed to be my intention was a 1-day event.
But just for a quadrant.
Yeah, just
of
for a
the-
quadrant of the municipality, just because I don't think we have so many
Okay.
roads in our municipality. I don't think that we could realistically do it all in 1 day, and neither, as we've talked about, we have the staff. They do a lot of brushing and things in the summertime as well. So then my whole intention was like, well, hey, I said, we already provide vouchers to our residents. I said, so secondly, on top of that, what would happen if we just did an area, because it is a travel distance for some of the residents to get to the dump. to get to say
And
snow
that's the
drifters are
elderly
set
too, right?
up.
So it's-
Because I move out a lot of residents, I see how much people move, so if we're talking about property standards as well. It's like, hey, you know what, if we get one item out of a residence and they know we're gonna come by, it could be 10 years, could be 8 years, I'm not sure what staff would come up with.
But you're not suggesting taking the vouchers away completely.
No, the vouchers remain intact completely.
Okay,
There'd be no change to that. It's actually, it'd be an additional where we have summer students already every year. And this is where I said, be it we do it this year or we do it next year, I just think that we could do a successful trial at some point.
I wonder how Laurentian Valley does it.
Yeah, because I've been, what else someone asked for this, could it be considered a paid service for people?
That's why I was asking, like, do you tape your
Separate
voucher to
voucher.
the?
No,
to
it's a
the-
separate agreement altogether. It's a separate voucher that you would have to pay for, like, let's say it's $20, right? Because this is not incurring an extra staff time to do it. I mean, if I'm whatever, older person, I would pay that to someone to come get my stuff, like.
Well, I think
hard
that's,
to get to the dump.
I think that'd be, my intention wouldn't be to do it like a paid private, because you could call any private organization, like someone would come
Yeah,
and
but not
pick
for
it up.
20, whatever it is. I can't imagine our fee would be huge.
Except the people in the village pay for garbage pickup, so that's not very fair to then say, oh, bulk in the rural areas, you get stuff picked up.
But it's not just rural areas, Eganville could be a one designated year. Cormac and surrounding area could be another designated, Golden Lake could be another designated area, that's where I was getting at, and this is where like Jason, Dale, road staff drive the roads, they would probably have their area that they potentially could do it. And that's what I'm saying, it's just something that maybe I have no problem helping out, and I said this to Ned, I said, any of these items, I have no problem helping accomplish as well.
I'm just wondering, can we give staff direction to go back and look at this to see what it might look like? Because right now, and I mean, it doesn't matter where, if we decide to do this, it doesn't matter where we start. Everybody else is gonna be upset, right? It doesn't matter if we start on Golden Lake, maybe Lake Clear's upset.
When are you coming to my place?
That's right. Maybe I'm upset living on 512 because I've got a deep freeze that needs to go to the dump. So I'm just saying.
They still gotta get their stuff to a point, to a pickup point too, right? That's how this would.
That is so interesting that you said that.
Oh,
So when I was campaigning in 2010, one of the things that I was asked way down in Scotch Bush was, why don't we get garbage pickup? So we did a survey to see if people wanted garbage pickup across the township. I think we only got maybe 20 to 25 surveys yet back, and most of them were no. And the reason is, so my house is a great example. I have to get the garbage from my house to the end of my laneway. Well, that means it's still gotta go in a truck,
yeah.
because
That's my point, yeah.
I'm not dragging the thing, especially not
You have to
this.
put it on a skateboard to drag it
So
out.
then once that's right, or one of your kids' wagons. So the garbage already has to go in the back of the pickup truck. So that at that point, might as well go to the dump. And so that was the reasoning. A lot of them said, if I'm going to the dump, I'm going to the dump.
Yeah. So they just need a break on getting their stuff to the dump at a low cost.
And they do have that with the vouchers, because the vouchers
Yeah.
probably cost us about 1% on our taxes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's once a year. And
Wow.
end of March is an extra,
But the
right?
vouchers are included in
Yes,
property
everyone,
owners
yes.
with their tax bill.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There are, not a lot perhaps, but renters and others that might also have an old sofa they want to get rid of.
Yeah,
Or
that
kind of
voucher is
left out.
supposed to be passed on to the renter. Good point. It is, it's supposed to be passed on.
But there could be ways of doing it at low cost, because what we want to do is, we don't want to have couches ending up in the ditch of the Scotch Bush Road, right?
And I don't think that that's been a thing. I think people are very good about using the vouchers and going to snow drifters and everything. And in fact, taking smaller bulk items to our other way sites. But I will say a relative that owns a home in another municipality asked why they don't have bulk pickup. Because their neighbors, Laurentian Valley does. So I don't know how Laurentian Valley does it. I think that they do it over a few days.
Yeah.
They do the whole township.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they use a contractor. I don't know what it costs.
They use a contractor, they use Millers.
Oh, they do?
They actually
Okay.
don't use staff.
And
to
it's
do it,
twice
they
a
use
year,
Millers.
spring and fall, and there's a target week, knowing that at some time in that week, your large items will be picked up. And that gives people a chance to go around and shop too before they're picked
Yeah,
up.
exactly. That's what Pembroke was
That's,
like.
that's an important part of it.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Vicksburg Road. Sometimes when they're in Laurentian Valley, if I'm driving down Vicksburg Road, sometimes people do pull off.
So maybe Brent has a good idea, that maybe there's a way of us to think a little outside the box and have a way for people, because many people are very independent, when put the sofa or put the old freezer in the truck and take it to the site, if they could avoid being charged for that one item.
Well, but
Maybe we go there.
I think
And
that
then-
at this point, again, using our staff resources, and I recognize you're saying some are students, but what I think that we need to know from staff, if this is feasible and how Jason would administrate it.
So I can have Jason report it at the next meeting, that is, because, so this all came because I had the discussion with Brent, and this is where I cleared it
Because
up.
it's not
And I
ditch
was like,
day.
oh, this is not the same thing, okay, that's.
And then
okay.
it said the same thing
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it's. So I had a conversation with Jason about it, that's how I know Laurentian Valley does Millers. And so, or Millers does Laurentian Valley, whichever, you know what I mean? And so Jason said, well, the issue is that it would have to take 3 public works employees and 3 pieces of equipment. So you'd have to have 2 dump trucks, because you cannot mix the white goods with the regular goods. So as you said, if I have a fridge and a mattress, they can't go in the same truck. They have to go in 2 separate trucks.
Oh,
And then if you've got the backhoe as well, so you've got 3 pieces of equipment, 3
Yeah.
employees. Our summer students generally don't have a DZ, so they can't drive the tandem trucks. So I'm not saying it's not doable, I'm saying it, you know, how it would work. When I spoke to Jason, I was like, oh, I didn't realize it would take that much
neither
effort.
did I.
So,
So,
but I can certainly have him report at it, you know, at the first meeting in April, and with whatever information that he has.
but I don't think we're saying yes or no.
Yeah.
I think that
It's a great
Jason
discussion.
kind of has to tell us
Yeah.
Mhm,
if it's even feasible.
mhm. Well, I think it
Because
just pulls from other things. It pulls from brushing, it pulls from grading, it pulls from other, I don't know how, like, he'll have to tell you how many days
But
an area could be done in.
So it's
Like,
not-
maybe it's only a day, maybe it's 2 days, maybe it's a week.
So
I don't know.
I guess, like, so I also looked at it as like, for example, like I know Kevin and Jason are also looking in the manual pulley system. So
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
that there by just doing that, by lowering it, and same as us simplifying our banners or anything like that, because
Yeah.
we discussed table. So if we simplify it, will that save us staff
Yeah,
time that would be comparable to
Yeah.
doing something like this? And this is how I looked, and that's how I looked at it, is just, so what would the staff time looked at? Because I figured it'd probably be about 3 staff, because I figured they may either have to have
Yeah.
2 dump trucks or additional truck in front of it.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense, but no, I'd be happy to,
Yeah.
Jason to
but you've
present.
got to remember, Brent, we were not picking up what you were putting down apparently.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
I would like to add though, that you wouldn't have to include metal on that, because we have a few people in our township are there, right, like that, when you have something metal to go.
Well, and Tracy, and the thing is
Yeah.
like, the whole intention on this is that we would know, so in a given year, in one of our, say, township letters, if this is something we'd want to do, that you could already pre-advertise for it, and then that your metal collectors go around and pick up those
Exactly.
barbecue.
Like that takes care of the
And-
metal.
Yeah.
Mike Newman's one of them.
And no different than couches and like,
Yeah.
peop- and like, and that's the thing, and so it's a realistic approach, and that's fine, and we can discuss it on that later date as well.
I'd like to know what Jason, yeah,
yeah, and they would have to be drained to the Freon as well, right? We can't take them unless they are.
Yeah,
oh,
I just thought the collaboration with the locals, that just takes it off the list for us, right? Because we could
But
collaborate.
I'll let Jason know for the April meeting if he could bring.
And the thing
something
is in that you can also put, you can put restrictions with it as well, like no different than our voucher, it stipulates what we do accept and what we don't, and how we do it, right? So.
yeah,
I think that given the shifting of our demographics and the percentage that are, you know, boomer plus, right, that would
Yeah.
benefit from this, makes it easy.
yeah.
My bigger concern, which I said to Brent, was, you know, picking which area, and I know you're saying
Yeah.
pull it out of a hat, and how many people are gonna be
Upset.
how many
Someone's
calls,
gonna be
how many
upset.
calls we're gonna get about that, but
But people,
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's no different than every year we have to make a decision on what roads we're gonna do as well, and obviously everyone would rather their road to get done, so. And that's how I kind of approached it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that, does anyone, no one else has any more questions? We can wrap up this.
Yeah,
And we already talked about the support for all sport.
Yeah.
We're all in favor.
I think that's great.
Yeah,
And we've advertised for that as well, like for the all sport,
It's brand new.
yeah.
yeah. But
Is
when you're,
there info
Yeah.
on
put it on
that?
our
but
social.
we have it on our social media and all that, okay.
Yeah, we took it from we shared the county sent
Mhm.
an advertisement, so we shared theirs, and that's how this resident.
And
heard about
then
it.
we have it on our electronic sign as well, just information for
We
it.
have to put it on the sign.
I just thought it's just because a lot of parents.
You
can
have
read-
one.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but a lot of parents can be registering and a lot of people do walk up and
Mhm.
down. You have a lot.
Mhm.
So that's just my
I
thought.
think it was just on our social media, it was, no, if it was in the paper, because the county did a whole media release about it.
Mhm.
And we shared that, and then, of course, we talked about it here,
Mhm.
so hopefully, people that are
Well,
watching.
It just because a lot of people start registering for all their sports programs now
Yeah.
for the spring and
Yeah.
summer. So that was the only thing, electronic signing is something as simple, like I saw the announcement and everything, but
Yeah, okay.
sounds good.
Okay. We don't have a media session because there's nobody here. So can I get someone to take us into closed session? Okay, all in favor? Do we have to do that? Yeah.
We just have to read it out.
You have to read your.
When we come back.
That we're moving.
Okay. That the committee proceed in closed session in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001, section 239.2, to deal with the matters as indicated below. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, and a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to negotiations. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Now you can rise and report.
Welcome back, everyone. I just looking, so a resolution dated this 4th day of March, so looking for someone to move out of closed session. Murph, all in favor?
So you actually have to read it.
Yeah, this, got that, sorry. Council moves out of closed session at 3:46 PM to rise and report that council met to receive information and give staff direction regarding upcoming 2026 union negotiations and approve minutes from December 7th, 2004. And then we need to resolution on the other one, right? To close, okay, I'm getting there.
No,
And then a resolution,
for the
sorry,
minutes?
No, to adjourn.
Oh,
To
to
adjourn.
adjourn, yeah,
for the other issue.
yes.
Okay. So the other resolution dated this 4th day of March, 2025.
Nope, there is no resolution. You're
There's
just
not?
adjourning the committee meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just have to-
sorry.
I have 2 forms here, that's why I'm,
Oh, I wondered what you were, because that looks like a longer resolution.
yeah,
Yeah, no, you're good for adjournment.
okay. Brent wants to get us out of here. All in favor? Bye, everyone. I'll get it.
No worries.